What's going on, everybody? Paul here, coming at you with your Crypto Coffee Update, your 3 times a week crypto update about news, conferences, events, and all sorts of things going down in the crypto world. And all I need from you is a simultaneous sip. How about that? All it is a sip of coffee, tea, water, whatever you have on hand, just to have a moment of peace and serenity together that we can share in this already hectic world. So, join me now. Good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news of the day. Bitcoin stealing malware is targeting Fortnite gamers. So one of the most popular games in the world right now, if not the most popular, for children and for adults alike. Let's go ahead and look at some of the threats that are being targeted at this seemingly ever-expansive ecosystem. It all started with the release of Season 6 when Byte Labs discovered some malware disguised as cheat tools for the game Fortnite that steals your data and some of your Bitcoin information. The YouTube videos offer a free season pass that prompts individuals to download some malicious software. There are multiple steps to this scam, as you can see here. Not only do you have to find the YouTube channel, go to an external site, fill out a survey, and then download the malware, but it's been a popular thing. One video racked up 120,000 views before being deleted for violating YouTube's spam policy. And this doesn't seem to be something that's going away anytime soon. Right now, I want to shift to talking to all the parents out there. Right now, guys, we're in a weird time in technological development. It turns out, a study that came out recently shows that Fortnite is just as addictive as heroin to children. The reason being that children don't have nearly as developed dopamine systems, and games like Fortnite, and recent studies also show, websites like Facebook game young people's dopamine receptors to increase user retention. There are all kinds of talks and studies now questioning the ethical implications of such practices, but suffice to say there are plenty of tools out there to assist you in limiting your child's time interacting with these kind of systems, if they're going to do it at all. After all, what's more precious than the next generation? It's something that no amount of money or time can get back, and they're our most precious gift to humanity. So, with that out of the way, let's get back into the crypto world. Crypto assets on the Winklevoss Gemini exchange are now officially insured. Can I get a Funzar Seifu? You can see crypto exchange Gemini has obtained insurance coverage from a professional services firm known as Aon, or AON. The insurance comes from the top of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or the FDIC. It's the same little insignia you see if you walk into your United States bank. Essentially, it ensures if anything happens, such as fire, flood, or damage, that up to $250,000 is insured. No clear information as to how much crypto specifically is insured on the Gemini exchange, but we'll keep you informed as things develop. The big takeaway from here is a quote from Yusuf Hussain, the Gemini head, that, quote, consumers are looking for the same levels of insured protection they're used to being afforded by traditional financial institutions, end quote. Hopping across the Pacific, Ripple blockchain payments app MoneyTap is going live in Japan, a relatively big feat considering the regulatory hurdles that have recently been erected in the island nation. Ripple tweeted out on Thursday saying that they are finally expanding on a tweet that they sent out nearly 7 months ago, as everything is rolling out and the app by SBI Ripple Asia is live. The MoneyTap app will allow individuals to use their smartphone to transfer money year-round 24/7 using Ripple's X-Current system. Japan currently uses a platform known as Zengin, which is a decades-old payment clearing platform that only operates between 8:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. in addition to taking high fees. So, this is a major improvement for existing legacy institutions. Speaking of legacy institutions that are going the way of the dinosaur, the Venezuelan president has announced the official launch of the oil-backed crypto Petro for the umpteenth time, it seems. This week, Nicolas Maduro gave a televised speech saying that, finally, the Petro will be rolled out to the world. Still not listed on CoinMarketCap, CryptoCompare, or any exchange, one has to wonder if this is just another farce by the dictator of Venezuela. The white paper alleges that the crypto will be backed by real assets. However, with hyperinflation like this, there's virtually no trust left in the government whatsoever. Originally, Maduro promised that the Petro would be ready by August, but that didn't exactly happen. Also, want to point out here an excellent example of Grammarly. At the top of this quote, you can see 20% and 10%. It's a mistype. There's no contextualization as to what they're referring to. And further down, they call Maduro Madura. Just want to plug Grammarly. If you're writing on the fly or if you don't speak native English, it's a great tool to help you catch little issues like this, because after all, someone, myself included, is going to notice. And interestingly enough, it seems that the Petro is just a blatant Dash clone, according to an Ethereum developer, Joey Zhao, which isn't that big of a surprise. It doesn't seem that Venezuela is home to the most competent government in the world by any stretch of the imagination, and this is something I wanted to briefly drive home here on this episode. There are particularly unique implications for investing in state-backed crypto. Perhaps the biggest implication being that if you are going to invest in a state-backed crypto, you are essentially purchasing sovereign debt. Or, said another way, you are buying the labor of the future generation of that nation. If this doesn't jive with you ethically or morally, that's fine, you know where you stand. However, if that's something that doesn't necessarily bother you, which is fine, keep in mind that you are complicit in the actions of that government in part. That doesn't mean that you're going to be hauled off in front of the UN, but just know that your money is going to fund the actions of this government. Why would Venezuela launch a petro? Because they need Bitcoin, they need capital to keep doing what they're doing, and frankly what they're doing is disgusting and immoral. However, that's not everywhere. The Marshall Islands recently launched their own crypto token because remittance payments from the United States are ending. So this is a small island nation that just wants to make its own way in the world. Whether that's good or bad is up for the individual to decide, but it's definitely not a Venezuela situation. So just wanted to drive home some of the nuances that occur when you're dealing with state-backed crypto. Stuff to consider. Last article of the day, Singapore's biggest shipping partner, IBM, is developing blockchain for crucial trade paperwork. This is a huge step forward into the digital future. After all, there is a lot of resources spent doing paperwork, attesting, making sure everyone has signed the dotted line, that everything was faxed over correctly, and oh man, if one of these papers is missing, you gotta go back and try and find it. It's a nightmare. Luckily, tech giant IBM has partnered with one of Singapore's biggest shippers, Pacific International Lines. And what they're doing is they're digitizing probably the most important document in shipping, the bill of landing, which is confirmation that everything has gotten there A-OK. The executive director of Pacific International Lines was quoted, quote, "Traditionally, information flow is predominantly handled via manual process, and the supply chain is slowed down when there are many points of communication within its framework. The use of blockchain technology to allow for the direct exchange of documents and information via the decentralized network to boost transparency, eliminate disputes, forgeries, and unnecessary risks will be key for this industry to progress," end quote. That's a lot of praise to lump onto blockchain technology for global shipping, which is by far the best way to get things all around the world. So, great news in my opinion, and the article thinks so too. Good news for the world. Pacific International Lines also signed a memorandum of understanding with the Port Authority of Singapore, who essentially controls the entirety of the city-state's ports. Time will tell how these developments unfold, but it's definitely looking that Singapore is on the cutting edge of blockchain implementation in the small island nation. That's all we have for the news. Let's go ahead and get into the happenings and conferences of the day for Friday, October 5th. San Francisco Blockchain Week kicking off yet again, the annual big ol' San Francisco conference happening on the left coast of the US. Also, we have the Women for Blockchain conference happening in New York, so ladies, if you're in the area, something happening for crypto up there. And for our friends in the East, a VR hackathon is occurring in Russia. So for all of our Russian friends, you get a chance to hack some VR headsets. That's pretty cool. That's it for Friday, October 5th, and strangely enough, normally Sunday is the quiet day, but for Saturday, October 6th, I couldn't find anything. And I do mean anything. I looked for AMAs, even for the smaller B-list coins, and looks like everybody's taking it easy. So if you know anything happening on Saturday, October 6th that I just happened to overlook, let me know in the comments below. It'd be very much appreciated. But with that said, for October 7th Sunday, we have the And Then conference happening in Las Vegas. So a good chance to get out, learn about crypto, and hey, who knows, maybe afterwards play a little blackjack. You are in Las Vegas. That said, that's all we have for Sunday, October 7th, and for this Crypto Coffee update. Check below in the description. As usual, there's a huge list of B-list tokens. They're fine coins. It's just, there's a lot to talk about. After all, we're coming up on 10 minutes here. So let me know what you thought of this below in the comments. And thank you for watching. I know we're not the most popular channel, but I really try to cram in as much value as I possibly can for the time that we're able to share together. So thanks again. With that said, my name is Paul, signing off. We are Cryptide. And remember, the tide is rising. I always thought the word snorkel sounded funny.